Here are 3 reasons why I'm still buying Beam. Reason number 1 is because hypothetically, I still think the room for growth is there. Even though Beam is not a small project by any means, I still believe there is a ways to go, even though nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. But just think about this, right? If let's say Beam were to go to the price of $1, that right there is around a 50x from here. Now, is this the best hypothetical upside? No, but if let's say I were to put $1,000 into Beam, and let's say it were to go to the price of $1, at that point, that $1,000 would hypothetically become 50. Now, some people may think, okay, yeah, 50, 50x, right? It's not really the best, but I don't mind that because I'm not in the world of cryptocurrencies to look for a 1000x. That's just not me. Now, some people out there, they want to go all in on a microcap. That's their choice, but anything over 10x, in my opinion, now I can only speak on my behalf, but that's already a big bonus. Like anything, again, over 10x is a big bonus for me. So when I see something hypothetically having the potential to, let's say, do a 50x, I like that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's bad whatsoever. Now, the amazing thing about Beam is the fact that, again, it's not a microcap where the risk feels a little bit high. That's a little bit too much for my appetite. But then at the same time, it's not this dinosaur. You know what I mean? It's not like a Solana. It's not like a BNB. It's not like an Ethereum. It's not like a Bitcoin that can't do, let's say, over a 30x during this bull run, right? They can't do that from the point where they are in as of right now, in my opinion, in the next 6 months to a year. I just don't think they could do that. Could they do okay? Yeah, sure. But could they do great like Beam, hypothetically? No, I don't think so. And it's not like reaching the price of $1 is really this crazy nonsense. If it were to reach that price, considering current circulating supply, at that point, market cap would be around $50 billion. So it's not too crazy. We've seen BNB reach over $100 billion in market cap, and we've seen Dogecoin reach over $80 billion. Now, am I saying that Beam is a meme coin? No, I'm not saying that. But I think, if anything, this showcases how, the standard it feels like to reach these high market caps doesn't seem too crazy. At least that's the way I view it in the world of cryptocurrencies. If something like Luna Classic can pump, if something like Klima DAO can find a bottom, and if something Kaka, right, like Litecoin, in my opinion, can still absolutely do well in 2021, and even still as of right now, still one of the biggest things out there, I just don't see why Beam won't at least do pretty good. In the world of cryptocurrencies, even the Kaka projects even get their time to shine. So now you combine a good project, and then let's say during a fully fledged bull run when the FOMO buying pressure and buying volume is at an all-time high, I just don't see why, $1 would be too insane. At least that's my opinion. And it's not like exposure for Beam is bad, because if it's this project that's like kind of hidden, only, could be purchased in random decentralized exchanges or other centralized exchanges no one's ever heard of, then okay, yeah, it's pretty difficult to gain that attention, that buying pressure, that FOMO. But, Beam has pretty good exposure, so it's not bad. And again, it's listed in some big major exchanges, so I don't think it's going to do bad during this bull run. Now, some people may think that, okay, yeah, you're saying Beam is going to do well, all this type of stuff. What makes you think so, man? The fundamentals are bad. Now, I disagree with that. And this actually brings me to my second point as to why I'm still buying Beam. And it's because of its rock-solid fundamentals. I mean, we got to take this into consideration. Beam, it's an open-source blockchain. Now, it's not just some random, ordinary, Kaka thing, right? Because it's actually specialized for gaming. Now, a lot of people may argue that, okay, when it comes to Beam being focused on gaming, this doesn't mean good news, because they say, oh, wow, the hype for blockchain gaming disappeared in 2021. No one cares about it. But I disagree with that, because I think better days are ahead. Even according to Grandview Research, the blockchain gaming market is predicted to be worth over $300 billion by 2030. So it's not even that far away at this point. We're so close to 2025. So again, it's not like it's 10 years away. And not to mention, this could very well just be a conservative estimate. We just don't know, right? No one has a magic crystal ball, quite essentially, and is able to predict exactly what happens. But we do have a gauge, right? Because we can take a look at the trajectory for, regular gaming, right? And then you add on top of that blockchain gaming, it could very well be the next big thing. So that's why I do believe that when it comes to blockchain gaming, the race is far from over. And don't you think that it's much more logical for something like Beam to be focused on blockchain gaming as of right now, as opposed to later? Because if they're going to do it later, if let's say once blockchain gaming does take off in a massive way, that's a little bit too little too late, right? It's much better anticipating a trend as opposed to chasing it. It's like, for instance, is it much better if I chase a wave that's like 50 feet away in the ocean, or I just wait on my surfboard and wait for the wave to come. I think it's much better doing the second option, right? The latter, when I'm just waiting, putting myself in a prime position to catch the wave so I can have a good time surfing. That's just the way I take a look at it. So when it comes to Beam, yeah, they're focused on a market that may not have the most hype, that may not have the most attention, that may not be the most flashy, but I think that they're anticipating what the future could be. So I think that's great news. Now, some people may think that, mass adoption when it comes to blockchain gaming isn't going to happen in the next 6 months to a year. So that means this bull run is going to be bad for Beam and other blockchain gaming projects. But I disagree with that, because the way I take a look at it is that, again, in the world of cryptocurrencies, sometimes people just don't care, right? They just pump things randomly. So I think that at times they only care about the anticipation of what things could be, because we see many other projects out there that never launch anything, that never do anything, but then the anticipation alone was already so intense to the point that their native token just absolutely skyrocketed. So when it comes to Beam, I don't think it's the end-all be-all that it doesn't gain mass adoption in the next 6 months to a year, let's say. I don't think it's going to be the deal breaker whether or not it's going to do well or not, in my opinion. Now, we got to consider how when it comes to Beam, there's many other aspects as well. Like, for instance, there is something called the Beam SDK, stands for Software Development Kit, the SDK part. But allegedly, that right there is allowing game developers to choose from a variety of tools that can be used to fuel and structure their in-game blockchain elements. So that's awesome. Also, on top of that, the Beam ecosystem includes something called Beam Swap, a decentralized exchange, the Beam Layer 0 Bridge, a bridging solution to transfer tokens between Beam and other blockchains. So that's a thumbs up. You take a look at Sphere, not to be confused with the Las Vegas Sphere, by the way, but even besides that, it's an NFT marketplace. So I like that as well. Again, NFTs, not popping as of right now, but I think better days could be ahead. However, besides that point, we also take a look at Beam OS, a portal for exploring tools and apps on the chain. Not to mention, last but definitely not least, the Beam Block Explorer, a tracking platform for all Beam transactions and statistics. So I think that's pretty awesome overall, and it's very diverse. Yes, it's primarily focused on blockchain gaming, but it has other aspects to it, and I really like that. It's a very well-rounded project, if that makes sense. It's kind of like creating a player in NBA 2K, and all the stats are like at 85, you know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't have like 100 speed, but then sometimes the characters that have like a 100 speed, their strength is like 2, right? So then it's not a very well-balanced thing, but this one is like stats all at 85. It just kind of feels like that. It's a very well-rounded project. Now, if we take a look at what created or launched like Beam in the first place, it's something called Merit Circle DAO. And I think this right here is something that really needs to be taken into consideration, because oftentimes people like to say that, this project isn't decentralized enough, it's too centralized. And I think this right here is where something like Beam truly shines in this aspect, or should I say in this case, Merit Circle DAO, because after all, a DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And this allegedly, by the way, is an entity that is designed to be fully autonomous without a central point of control. Let me repeat that again, right? Without a central point of control. That's how amazing this is. It's very decentralized, in my opinion, pretty much as decentralized as it gets, but at the same time still having some good guidance and balance, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the best of both worlds type of scenario. But even besides that, the rules of a DAO are established by a core team of committee members, and it is executed through smart contracts. To obtain voting power or membership in a DAO, users are typically required to own its governance token. And in this case, Beam holders, right? People who hold Beam can vote. So I like that overall. And I think Beam has very amazing fundamentals. And I think everything I just said pretty much speaks for itself as to why I think the fundamentals are rock solid. Now, the third and final reason why I'm still buying Beam is because I think this bull run could be amazing. There's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, more than ever before in history. The Bitcoin ETF is amazing, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. And if we see the trajectory for Bitcoin as of right now, I think reaching way beyond 150,000 could very well be in the cards. And I think if that were to happen, as the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. In the next 6 months to a year from right now, if Bitcoin does a lot better, if the euphoria, the buying pressure, and the buying volume is amazing, Beam at the price of $1, I don't see why not, especially again, when I take into consideration its amazing fundamentals and just how amazing this bull run could be. But it's just a waiting game. So in the meantime, I'm going to be dollar cost averaging. Anytime I earn income, I'm going to be acquiring Beam, holding, and just waiting. Because again, at the price of $1, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.